Welcome back to another awesome episode of A Queen's Roundtable Show and Podcast. I am your host, Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. I am your host for A Queen's Roundtable Show and Podcast and A Queen's Roundtable Leadership Symposium. I am also the visionary author of a new anthology project that I am super excited about. It's actually titled Women of Color United, My Health is My Wealth. Yes, the title says it all. It is the ultimate guide for practicing effective self care for entrepreneurs. So, if you're an entrepreneur or thinking about being an entrepreneur, you are a self care expert, or if you actually have a story of your own to share about a chronic illness or overcoming the illness or living with the illness and being an entrepreneur, I would love to hear from you. Okay. So make sure you reach out to me if that is something that interests you. I definitely would love to hear from you. And lastly, but definitely not least, I am also the executive producer of the Eight Queens Roundtable channel on, yes, the one and only Women Win Television Network, streaming on Roku and Amazon Fire TV, reaching 100 million viewers. All right. So if you are interested in being a show host, then let's connect and let's have a conversation. So today's particular episode is very special to me. I am actually interviewing today the visionary as well as some of the co authors of the Imperfectly Fierce and Focused anthology. And this is particularly special to me because I call myself a recovering perfectionist. So this speaks to my heart in terms of I don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? Because oftentimes we get so caught up in thinking things have to be perfect that we don't take action. So this is a complete honor to me to be able to bring on Kiva Murdoch, who is the visionary author of this particular collaboration. And like I said, we have several of the authors from the project that I'm going to be just going to be joining me in the studio in here in just a moment. So go ahead, relax, get your favorite beverage, and just you don't want to miss this episode. And please like the episode as well as share it out. Okay? All right. You ready to meet my guests? Here they come. Yes. Hello. I hope everyone can hear me okay. All right, we are getting. Oh my God, this is so exciting. And Kiva, I am so honored to have you and your co-authors here on the show to talk to us about this awesome anthology and just basically get everybody ready so they can know how to follow you and just basically make sure that they order their or pre-order their copy of this book and if they don't want to miss it. So I'm going to go ahead and hand the mic over to the visionary, the one and only Kiva Murdoch. Kiva, go ahead and tell us a little bit about you. Introduce yourself, who you are, and just briefly tell us about your anthology, please.
Awesome. Well, first of all, let me just thank you for just inviting me as well as my co-authors on your wonderful show. I'm no stranger to a Queen's Roundtable, so to be able to come back and just collaborate with you and just join forces, if you will, to get this anthology out before the masses, I just want to first of all thank you for that. But yes, my name is Coach Kiva Lernice Murdoch. I am the visionary of Imperfectly Fierce and Focused, rising above your imperfections while still crushing your goals. This particular anthology is going to talk to that individual that has endured something in their lives. And what I mean by that is they have gone through the fire, they have dealt with traumatic experiences, they have dealt with getting the unfavorable diagnoses, they have dealt with being a victim of domestic violence, they have dealt with just things not falling into where they need to be. So this anthology is going to speak to that individual that is looking for the the um the way out of those situations. This anthology is going to rely on personal and professional experiences from these contributing co authors. You're going to walk away with tangible nuggets that you can implement into your life almost immediately, that is going to change the trajectory of your life. Am praying that the readers walk away feeling empowered, that they walked away feeling motivated, and that they walk away with a clear vision of the direction that their lives are going to go. So my prayer is that when they pick up this anthology for Imperfectly Fierce and Focused, rising above your imperfections whilst they're crushing your goals, they will be able to do just that, rise above those things that are making them imperfect in their lives, in their professional endeavors, and crush those goals. I am a coach, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a facilitator. I work with individuals and I coach the entire person. And what that means is that if you come to me with a deficit in your business, we're going to look at that entire person and we're going to coach you through what I like to call my 5 4 3 2 1 paradigm, that is going to work on changing that mindset, is going to establish the foundation of your life as well as your business. Is going to help you to keep yourself accountable and make tangible action plans that you can implement into your business and your professional endeavor. So I'm excited to be here and share this platform with some of my co-authors, and we're going to turn this portion back over to our host for this evening, Coach Jacqueline.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And Kiva, you are so amazing. You are amazing again. It's it's you. This is not your first rodeo on the Eight Queens Roundtable show, but I'm always delighted to have you back. So, Miss Fuchina, you are up next. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. My name is Katrina Carpinal, and I'm founder and CEO of Chronicles of a Favorite Woman. I am no stranger to Miss Murdoch's show. It's always a pleasure to come to return. And it's funny because I'm not a stranger to Miss Coach Murdoch as well. So I just feel like we all family here. So, but I hail from Duluth, Georgia. I'm originally from South Carolina. But I hail from Duluth, Georgia, and I have a radio broadcast that I do every Sunday that most of you have been on, and will be on if we have it on. And I'm just grateful to be here. I'm usually modest because I always forget something to say, but I'm just happy to be a part, one of the authors in this book, and I'm so humbled right now because I finally found a project that really relates to me, like spot on. So I'm looking forward to having everyone read it and be blessed by it. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good to have you back as well, Fuchina. So, next up, we have Omu. If you can go ahead, and this is your first time on the Eight Queens Roundtable show, and excited to have you, go ahead and introduce yourself as well, please.
Hi, Jacqueline. I'm actually excited to meet you. Thank you so much. Kiva, I've been on Kiva's show and I'm an ardent follower. So I'm a coach, speaker, and a trainer. I work with people to help them achieve success, whatever success means to them. I call myself a vision pruner because I help you actually prune and realize what your actual vision is. Because a lot of times, even the Bible talks about us perishing because we lack our vision. And a lot of times we don't realize that that is actually the missing link. We think we know what we want, but we really haven't sat down to think about it. So I work with you to actually realize those things that mean a lot to you that you've put at the back burner and you're just moving with the motion and thinking you're doing the things that are important, but they really are not filling you up. And so every other aspect of your life is not working. I am an international speaker and I love networking. So Obviously, that's how I met Kiva. Um, so what attracted me to the book, first of all, was the name. Um, like you said, I'm actually a recovering perfectionist. So when I saw the imperfectly fierce and focused, I was like, that is me. Because I finally got to that point where I said, you know what? Perfection is for Christ. I'm not perfect and I'm not going to be. So the sooner I accept it and just move on and be grateful for where I am, the better. And that was a major turning point for me, which actually brings me to gratitude. I am very big on gratitude because for the longest time, because I felt I hadn't gotten to where I was, I failed to be grateful for the things that I already had, and that was stopping me from moving forward. So when I saw the book, I just thought, oh, this was a wonderful opportunity. I'd always wanted to write a book. And I've also realized that, sometimes in a bid to go it alone, you never really go. So for every opportunity I have to align or collaborate with like-minded people that share my vision, I always take that opportunity. I strongly believe that there's strength in numbers, and I'm a strong Christian. So when I also meet Christians that are doing business, I always feel that we really need to stick together and do things together instead of sitting around and complaining.
Okay, absolutely. Well, thank you, and very nice meeting you, and welcome to the show. I'm sure
Thank
this won't
you.
be the last.
By the way, I'm in Lagos, Nigeria. I forgot to add that.
I was going to ask you that. Okay, Legos. Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. So, again, thank you all. This is just awesome. I love it. Okay. So, visionary Kiever, is there anything else you want to mention in terms of, why you felt that it was important to do this project, or, anything about bringing it together before we go into letting everyone talk a little bit more, or just give a brief snippet of their chapter?
Absolutely. I've been sitting on this project for a little while. Um, and I felt that it was finally time to birth it. It seemed as if everybody that I've been coming into contact with, everyone had that same narrative. I want to do this, but it's not perfect. I want to say this, but, I have to change this and tweak this and all of that. And finally, God said, okay, it's time to move on this project because the time is now. I feel as if we, as human beings, especially as women, we second guess a lot of things that God has already given us the plan to do. And we second guess the plans that He has already outlined for us. And even if we don't have that clear vision on where to go, we need to trust the process. We need to trust God that He is leading us down a path that is going to be successful. And we struggle because we do not trust the process. We question everything until we question ourselves out of the situation. And I feel like because of that, we are missing the mark. We're missing reaching people that God has already ordained us to reach. We are missing helping people to heal through certain traumatic experiences. We are missing the opportunity for our voices to be heard. That's not fair to us. That's not fair to God. And that's not fair to the individual that need us. So I feel that this particular project, the time for it to be birthed is now because we need to get beyond, and I like to call it the fear of the spirit of excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied here. The fear of the spirit of perfection. It's a false reality because, as Omu just said, the only perfect being was Jesus the Christ Himself. So, why are we allowing that false reality of perfection to hold us captive, to hold us from um, being all that God has intended for us to be. We are our own worst enemy. So this is the time right now that we need to get the message out that we are no longer being bound by that false reality of perfection. We're going to work through these situations. We're going to understand the assignment. We're going to accept the assignment, and we're going to move forward as God has already outlined and ordained us to do. So the time is now. The time is now, and I'm so excited to have humbled myself, to have understood and heard the calling of God Himself, and have implemented this book because I know that it's going to be the change that somebody needs.
Listen, amen to that. And yes, yes. Oh my God. This book, I think, is going to be very, very powerful. I wanted to, Kiever, you and I, like, we've interviewed many, many, many women on our shows. And the topic always comes up about never feeling like, because really the whole root of perfectionism is feeling inadequate, or feeling like you're not worthy, or imposter syndrome. Why do you think? Because I'm telling you, just about everyone that I've interviewed since late 2016, this comes up. This whole idea of having to be perfect. And I know this is a loaded topic, but we have a few minutes, and if everybody can kind of speak to that, maybe just in like maybe a minute or two. Why do you think this is so frequent amongst us as women?
I have to kind of relate it back to how the majority of us are raised, right? We are raised, and I must say, and let's just keep it completely 100. As African American women, we are held to a completely different standard to our counterparts. We're judged more harshly. And not only that, as little girls, we are trained, and it's almost ingrained in us to be extra critical and to second guess ourselves, and sometimes we don't come from the most supportive environment. So I just think that it's something that we just have to be cognizant of and conscious of, and start to work against those things that have been ingrained as us as little girls. Is change going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. But I do feel like this is the perfect opportunity for us, because we can't change anything that we first of all don't acknowledge. We have to acknowledge those inhibitors that are keeping us stuck in this position or in this space of being perfect. And once we get beyond that, once we acknowledge that that is an issue for us, then we can start moving forward and changing those narratives. So I really feel like unfortunately, is something that as women, we deal with on a daily basis. Um, but we can change the narrative. We can change these conversations right now, and we can change how we are instilling and ingraining those life skills into our girls that are coming up today. So, I do feel like, and I think it's Fachina that says, and Fachina, you can correct me, fear is the false evidence that appears real. So once we understand that, then we can start moving into the mindset of, okay, change. But it starts right there in the mindset. We have to acknowledge it, accept it, and deal with it, and then we can start to move forward.
Yes,
I,
absolutely. I totally agree. And I know I see Fucina over there busting at the seams. Go ahead, Fucina.
you go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just gonna piggyback off what Kiva said. I'm from the South. I wasn't born in the South, but I was raised in the South. And as women, Black women, because we're gonna keep it transparent, 100, we're taught that we got to be strong. as women, we are made head, and when we're made adults before we become adults. Because if you're oldest, then you know that you got to take care of your brothers and sisters, because you got to do it. So you didn't been put in a position that, one, you didn't ask for, and then sometimes you're not ready for, but you are made ready because you have to do it for survival. And as that goes on, it's ingrained in us, because we realize sometimes we say we're okay, but we're not okay. And sometimes we have to realize it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. But we've been so programmed into thinking you wear it with a smile. So you'll see us wear it with a smile. And we could be going through a whole bunch behind our smile. And that's what I love about this book, because you're right. We are imperfect. We're not perfect. We're not. And it's okay that sometimes we put on this facade that everything is going on right, and we got so much going on behind us, and actually we're screaming for help, but we're either too proud to say it, too embarrassed to say it, or whether it's through that self-doubt and self-sabotage, whether it's doubt, fear coming from traumatic experience, coming from whatever the case may be. We know is survival, and we're going to do whatever we can to survive until it gets to a point it comes to a head, and something has to give, and something breaks out, and now all of a sudden, like, this chick is crazy. No, I'm not crazy. Or you're an angry Black woman. No, I'm not an angry Black woman. I'm just a woman who's angry and frustrated, and I'm tired. I'm tired of always having to put on the facade that I'm perfect. I'm tired of always having to carry the weight. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. We're strong for everyone, but there's nobody here to be strong for us. And no, it's not okay. It's not okay. And so I love the fact that God has afforded me the opportunity to be in this book, because I want people to know, yeah, I may be out there crushing. Yeah, I may be out there, but there are nights when I am crying and on my knees saying, Lord, I need you. I got to plant my feet so I can bob and weave everything that's coming my way. But it's not, I'm not okay sometimes. And it's okay. And now we have an outlet to let people know, because people don't know. You can't heal what you won't reveal. And this is an opportunity to reveal you're not by yourself, sister. You're not by yourself. We've been there. We're going through it. Let me help you, because part of having a testimony is God command. It is our responsibility to go back and pay it forward. If He brought us through, it is our responsibility to go back and help somebody through who wants to be helped.
That's right. That's right. It's our responsibility. Yep, to let people know they're not alone. So thank you, Fuchina. So Omu, did you have any, or what would you like to share in reference to what we're talking about right now?
Yeah, I'm actually smiling because I had this conversation with a friend of mine in the States just last night. And I was saying to her that, until I started working with women internationally, I was of the impression that it was just African women who had those challenges, because before the world, like I said, the world has become a global village. Look at us from different parts of the country. You're in different parts of the country. I'm all the way in Africa, and we're talking like we're speaking to each other like we're next door. That was impossible in the past. So all we ever knew, or all the average person knew, were the glamorous pictures they saw on TV and in movies, and with African American women looking all dressed up and looking powerful. And so the average African woman thought, oh, I want to be like an African American woman because she has it all. And when I started working with a lot of women all over the world, I said to her, I said, I found out that women all over the world basically have the same issues, the same challenges at the end of the day. Um, in the States, I find that it's a bit covert. Um, in Africa, it's probably a bit more pronounced. So yeah, growing up as an African female, which, by the way, like I had written in my book, it's a bit of a challenge for me because I came from a home where there really wasn't male or female. So do what I mean, those treats them what there was no distinction. There was no male role or female role or anything. But then I'm in the minority. So when I come out and I sound a certain way, they're looking at me like, did you drop off from the sky? So whichever way, it still affects me. And like Kiva had said, growing up in that sort of environment, and even as, would I say, lucky as I was, you still heard things like, oh, you're a lady, you should be seen, you should be seen and not heard. Or you don't talk too much in the papers, don't appear too much in the papers. So it's almost as if you're always dimming your light so others can shine. And then you grow up feeling like coming out in the papers is being too, obviously partly Christianity as well. So coming out in the papers is being boastful, doing this is being showy, and your idea of modesty is shrinking and being less vocal. And that kind of slowed us down. That said, I find that with the new generation, with these Gen Zs, they're not having it. And I'm so proud of them. you know so I mean, it's quite I honestly think that there will be a part two to Imperfectly Fierce and Focused, because this has really is like a beginning of a discussion.
Yep. You know what? It's so funny that you said that. I see a part two as well. This is just the beginning, because just even now, just talking about this, we're growing up in different parts of the world. And I swear to you, I thought there was a long time that I thought it was just me that was told to be seen and not heard. And to hear you say that, Omo, was just like, wow. I'm just sitting here. This is amazing. Like you said, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, and it's so important to keep having these conversations. So I'm trying to keep us flowing here. What we're going to do is take a brief commercial break, and we are going to come back after the commercial. So don't go anywhere, guys, everyone, ladies, gents, whoever's watching. And we're going to give each of you an opportunity to talk, just to give a little snippet about your chapter. I know you may have touched on it, but we're going to do that once we come back from the break. So, like I said, don't go anywhere. Give us just a second here. All right, one moment. Be right back.
Have you ever struggled with procrastination, imposter syndrome, or a false reality of perfection? Have you ever suffered from trauma, anxiety, or depression? Then I have a solution just for you. Introducing Imperfectly Fierce and Focused, rising above your imperfections while still crushing your goals. This anthology is to empower, uplift, and motivate readers to recognize their ability and strength to get beyond the spirit of perfection, fear, and procrastination. So if you're ready to stop the excuses, stop the procrastination, and start living your best version of yourself, then prepare yourself for this powerful book release. It's going to be epic. Like and follow our Facebook page, Imperfectly Fierce and Focused, rising above your imperfections while still crushing your goals.
Okay. So we're back. We're back. And just want to let you know again to make sure that you are following on Facebook, Imperfectly Fierce and Focused, so you can stay up to date. and basically be ready to grab your copy. So, ladies, let's talk a little bit, just briefly. Everyone, tell a little bit about your chapter. Now, of course, you're not going to tell too much, but talk a little bit about, whatever you'd like to share with the audience. I guess, Kiva, we'll start with you first, and Fuchina, and then Omu.
Sure. Well, my chapter is entitled Not Easily Broken. And just to give you a little bit of background without giving too much away, is basically centered around how I grew up. I grew up very poor. I grew up in a very volatile and domestic field household. I grew up lacking and just not having the confidence within myself to feel as if I belong. I had a very terrible speech impediment. I stuttered, couldn't talk to save my life. Um, so what saved me was a couple things. Joining JROTC program, and through that program, I was able to find my innate leadership abilities. I was also able to find my voice, and I was able to find that confidence that I needed. And so often growing up as children, especially, just being at such impressionable ages, you are so inclined to believe the negative that is poured into you. And I'm not sure if that happens so much today as it did back then. But when you're hearing, that you're not going to be anything, that you're stupid, that you're crack, and that you're this and that you're that, at some point you grow up starting to feel like you're not worthy, that you don't belong, that you start to believe those narratives. So for me, one of the things that I shared in the book was how I was able to get beyond that particular mindset. And there was a couple of key um factors in my life to help me to be able to recognize that I was not those things that family and friends was trying to pour into me. I was not those things that they were, and I think that it probably, some of those negative things um, came from a point of fear, because something that you don't understand, you put down. So as a child, I was one of those children that stood out. I was always smart. I never went to Head Start or anything like that. I barely got into kindergarten because I was too smart. Um, so I was always one of those kids that stood out. And I believe that because my extended family didn't understand me, then automatically something must have been wrong with me, right? And it's sad, but that's how the world looks at you, because you're different, you're odd, or you are weird, you don't belong, So at some point, we have to start to erase some of those negative paradigms, some of those negative narratives. And so, what I talk about in the book is just that, how I was able to get from that mindset to where I am today. And I also talk about some of the struggles that I endured, not only as a child, but as a young mother, as a young wife. When I tell you, we had it hard, not only coming up, but in our earlier years of marriage, we had it hard. And there are things that we overcome that would have broken a lot of couples. So to find out what those are, you have to buy the book. You have to buy the book. But those are just some of just the things that I share, and just how I'm able to get from point A to point B, and what that process actually looked like. And I also share very tangible things that they can draw from my stories, and they can implement into their lives and start to change the trajectory, start to change some of those conversations, and start to change some of those narratives in their lives, as well as their um, professional endeavors.
Wow. Whew. I can't wait.
It's powerful. It's powerful.
I can't wait. So, Fuchina?
Yes. My topic is simply stay out the trash. When people hear that, they wonder, wait a minute, what do you mean by that? And sometimes we find ourselves in positions where God has delivered us from something, and we find ourselves right back in the situation. And it's just like a merry-go-round. We loop and we loop and we loop, not realizing that there is a reason for everything. I'm off. There's a saying that you will attract with the scent that you put out in life, and that comes from self, other people. It stems from many things. And in my segment, I explained I have stories. I like to share my stories because sometimes people think they're going through it by yourself. No, you're not. And so I'm sharing my stories. And at the end of my stories, I'm asking, I give them an opportunity for them to think and them to ask themselves, how did I end up in this situation? Why did I end up in this situation? And how we need to get out of this situation. The question is, do you want to get out? You know, and that's with anything in life. And I'm very excited about it. And what they will get out of it is one, real, like all of us are. But I am going to break down. I've decided to just break down and give my stories and how, what happened as a result of it and steps I took to get out of it.
Okay, wonderful. Stay out the trash.
Stay out the trash.
I like that.
Yes. Thank you.
So you're welcome. So Miss Omo, you're up.
So my topic is living life to the fullest, a story of passion, perseverance, and possibilities. And my tagline now is living my best life. And when I started adding that, a lot of people had that impression of, oh, you've arrived, or oh, you have everything you want. And I take time to explain to them that there's never going to be a time you're going to have everything you want. If your goal is to make $1 million, the day you make $1 million, you're going to want to make $2 million. So you would never really have everything that you want. And because I was looking to get everything I wanted, I never really lived life to the fullest. And what actually helped me get to this point was that I had passion for what I wanted. I stayed true to my passion. Yes, I derailed, and my story will tell you about different things I did. Thankfully, no major mistakes, but I mean, derailed, and it made the journey longer. Um, but I persevered. And Kiva had mentioned something about trusting the process. And it's funny how you hear things and it just passes by your ears. And one day, you say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to humor everyone I've heard say this thing. Okay, I'm just going to trust the process. I'm just going to act like, okay, let's see. And that was basically what I did. And I found out that life is full of endless possibilities, and I'm able to embrace those possibilities daily. And I look forward to every morning, believing that every morning comes with new blessings. And because I've now made myself um, open to receive, then I'm able to actually receive those blessings, as against the past when those blessings just pass you by.
Being open to receive them. I like that. Wow. This is really awesome. And again, this is just we still have a couple of other co-authors that are participating in this project that aren't here. So this is just a really just a snippet, right? Kiefer, this is just a snippet. So make sure that you are following Facebook Imperfectly Fierce and Focused so you can stay up to date on when the launch is, so you can attend the launch and basically go ahead and grab your copy. So, in conclusion, Kiever, what would you like to say, or what do you want the audience to walk away with, like right now, today, in reference to everything that we've talked about?
If I had to leave any lasting words to your viewers today, first of all, it would be, as Omu just reiterated, trust the process. Just know that, life is here, life is a journey, and it's not going to go perfectly. And the quicker we realize that and accept that, I feel like the easier things will become for us. I want them to understand that no, life is not going to be perfect. Some of us are dealt very harsh hands in life. But what do you do with those situations? You can either lay in it and mellow in it, woe is me, or you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps and look at that situation head on and figure out a couple things. Number one, what can I learn from this? So that you don't find yourself in a very similar situation down the road. And the second thing I want you to ask yourself is, what can I teach others about this situation? Because I'm a firm believer, Jacqueline, that what we go through is not just for us. No matter how traumatic that experience is, guess what? There is a reason God chose you to endure this situation. What are you going to teach others about how you got out of it? Right? So if I had to leave anything with them, it would be just that. Look at life for what it is. It's a journey. And there are going to be bumps, just like on the highway. When we are driving, we hit potholes, we are ditching squirrels, we're trying not to hit the dogs and the deers. That's what life is. It takes us on just such twists and turns sometimes. But what are we going to get out of it? And how are we going to teach others to persevere through it? So, in getting imperfectly fierce and focused, that's my prayer for those readers, is that they will find themselves on this journey of life. They will be able to recognize those inhibitors that have been keeping them captive and stagnant. And they will be able to take and draw strength from our stories in this book and how to help them persevere. And I know we hear that word a lot, perseverance and resiliency. There's a reason for that. And I feel like that's what the world needs. They need true authenticity to recognize those things that they are just allowing to stay roadblocks. And in reading Imperfectly Fierce and Focused, they're going to get those nuggets and tools to be able to get beyond that spirit of perfection and really get to true change. So, yeah, that's what I want to leave with them today. And I believe that this book is going to be powerful, it's going to be impactful. And I heard one of my contributor co-authors said earlier tonight, this is just the beginning. When I tell you that God has given me a vision for Imperfectly Fierce and Focused, honey, if you have not joined Imperfectly Fierce and Focused now, you're going to be sorry, because this is just the beginning, and this is more than a book, it's a movement. This is a movement that is going to be global. And as you see, we have somebody sitting here right here from Nigeria. So when I tell you this is going to be powerful, this is going to be impactful. So this is the time you need to get on board. Yes, it's too late for this part of the anthology, but there is more to come. And I'm telling you, you do not want to miss it. And I
Hmm.
use the mic.
I heard that. Absolutely. I know this is a movement, and I'm so honored to be a part of this, and it really speaks to me. Whew. Okay, so Fuchina, any closing remarks that you like to leave the audience with?
The only closing remarks I have is, first of all, thank you for having us. I'm looking forward to what the future holds. I am especially excited for those who read this book. because it's nuggets. It's not okay. I only know to be real. So this is the real, this is real stuff. This is open and honest because that's the transparency is the word I'm looking for. It is transparency at its finest to let people know. I look forward to you going out and getting your copies, not only to you, send it to someone you know that's going through, send it to someone who needs it, send it to just send it out because it's transformative. It's realistic and it's transformative. You'll get the most. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I promise you will not be disappointed. And I am very positive that someone who or whoever reads this book will be able to relate to one of our stories, if not all of
Right. I like how you mentioned that. And that's what's so one of the things that's so great about anthologies is because just, they may it may be one story or two stories or all of the stories that they resonate with, right? But we know there's going to be at least if not more, one story that they can relate to, right? To help change the whole trajectory of their lives. And that's what we want. Omo, any closing remarks that you'd like to leave the audience with?
Aside from saying to them to just get ready to read the book, um, and get ready to hear the truth, listen to a group of authentic women telling you exactly as it is. So it's almost like you're learning from life experiences and not fiction. And looking forward to hearing their reviews as well, and hoping to impact as many lives as come in contact with the book.
Okay, awesome. Well, this has been great. I've really enjoyed everyone and hearing your different views on this particular topic. And I'm excited. I think this is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be awesome. So just make sure you are staying connected. Okay. Staying connected to Imperfectly Fierce and Focused. Now, Kiva, the anticipated launch is the end of next month.
Yes, that is correct. Right now, our projected launch date is May 31st, 2023. I pray all goes well. So definitely be on the lookout for our pre-sales shortly before that. And we are going to push this project out. And just like my sister Fachina said earlier, even if you feel like you don't need the book, you know somebody that needs this book that's just struggling to get through, or they just can't seem to understand their why, their vision, their purpose for being here on this earth. So even if you don't need it for yourself, get it for a friend, get it for a sister, get it for your enemies. Maybe that might help change their lives. There is somebody that needs and perfectly fierce and focused, rising above your imperfection while still focused, while still crushing your goals. So don't be selfish. Don't sit on it. Definitely tune in. Follow us. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, but Facebook is Imperfectly Fierce and Focused. On Instagram, it's Imperfectly underscore fierce underscore focus. So you can definitely follow us on both platforms just to stay abreast on when the official launch date will be posted. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out directly to me. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Kiever Lernice Murdaugh. And if you have any questions about what is yet to come, definitely reach out to me because, like I said, this is just the beginning. This is a movement, it's more than just a book project, and we have a lot more to come. So stay tuned.
Yes. So, real quick, Fuchina, let the audience know where they can find you.
My name is Fuchina Kirkendall, and you will never meet another Fuchina Kirkendall again. I am Googleable. You can Google my name. I promise you, you'll see me. But I am on the social media page. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn, and that's Fuchina Kirkendall. And I'm also can be reached on Chronicles of a Favorite Woman, and that is on Instagram as well as Facebook. Um, to reach out to me, all you have to do is DM me. That's all I need, and and we can go from there. I feel like I'm leaving something out, but Google me. You can't go wrong with it.
Just Google her.
Just Google
Right.
me.
I don't think I've ever met another Fuchina. So,
No, ma'am.
Omu, where can they find you?
Okay, so I'm Omobilo on Facebook. On LinkedIn, I'm Omobilo as well. On Instagram, I'm Thrive with Omo. And on TikTok, I'm on Thrive with Omo as well.
Okay. Yeah, I always forget about TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. Always, but I know it's a lot of people gain a lot of visibility, right, through TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
have to talk more.
Okay. Well, this has been wonderful, and I really truly appreciate everyone for being on the show. And thank you so much, Kiva. Again, this is a pleasure to actually just be able to talk with you and your co authors and be able to spread the word and increase visibility about this awesome, awesome project. I'm also a co author. And I am super excited. Like I said, this speaks volumes to me, this particular topic. Next Sunday, I'm going to be interviewing one other co-author. I believe it is just one other co-author. So stay tuned. Make sure you check us out then. Please like this broadcast, share it out, leave any questions or comments you may have for us. But definitely, if you haven't done it now while you're watching this broadcast, make sure that you follow Imperfectly Fierce and Focused on Facebook, because you don't want to miss the launch and when the copies are going to be available. So again, I'm your host, Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. If you're the visionary author and you have a new anthology project coming out, or you're an author and you're, self-publishing, or whatever the case is, and you're interested in increasing visibility around your project, definitely follow me, or pop in my DM or send me an email at realizing your potential 123 at gmail.com, or follow me as well on Facebook under realizing your potential, the numbers 123, or my personal Facebook profile, which is Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. And let's link up. Let's have a conversation. I would love to feature you and spotlight you and your co-authors, as well as if you are the visionary for a particular online virtual summit, and you are also looking to spotlight yourself, your speakers, and just looking to bring more global visibility to your project, also reach out to me as well. So thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And again, if you caught us in the middle, go back and make sure you watch the whole full episode. And this episode can later be viewed on the Women Win Television Network as well. So stay tuned. So everyone, over for now, out for now. See you again next time. Same place, same time, same bat channel. All right. Take care, everyone.